Joining me now to debate this is Dinesh D'Souza, conservative author and filmmaker, and Ethan Bearman, host of Left Coast News. All right, Dinesh, it does seem like every week liberals prove a different stereotype correct. I mean, we just laid out a few of them in the angle, but we could do an entire hour on this. On this particular issue of guns, your thoughts?
Well, I think that this vindicates kind of what the NRA has been warning from the outset. At first, for many years, I thought that the NRA was kind of using, you may call it the slippery slope argument, which was essentially that once you start outlawing one type of weapon, you will then slowly proceed to outlawing the next type, and eventually it becomes a kind of comprehensive confiscation. But I think what's interesting here is this is not even a slippery slope. It now appears like there's a whole group of people that from the outset want a comprehensive ban, and these mass shootings are making them come out of the closet, you may say rhetorically, and be more and more frank and candid about what their real agenda is. It never was a kind of targeted or narrowly tailored law. It's ultimately an all-out assault on the Second Amendment. And let's remember, too, Laura, that the Second Amendment is no less important than the First Amendment or the Fourth Amendment. So we should very jealously guard against these constitutional rights being stripped away based upon some sort of pretext. My rights don't, if you're going to abuse your rights, the solution is not to take away my rights.
All right, Ethan, I want to get you in on this because obviously it's a very hot topic. We have these horrific shootings and people want to end the shootings. Of course they do. They want to protect innocent life, which is a incredibly important goal for, I think, all Americans. On this issue of the 94 ban, which, 94 ban is cited oftentimes by Democrats, but I just laid out in the angle how the university study that was done to report to the DOJ couldn't say that it really resulted in fewer gun deaths. Yet we have people on television, on MSNBC, Joyce Vance said this, watch.
You know, we had a ban on military assault-style weapons in this country in the 90s, and it was successful. And when that ban stopped being in existence because of pressure from the NRA and other gun supporters, that flooded those weapons back into the country.
Well, we laid out how only 7% of gun crimes are committed with guns that are actually bought from a licensed dealer. So how do you square this, Ethan, with this desire for another, going back to the old assault weapons ban?
Well, interestingly enough, citing that University of Pennsylvania study confirms where Beto and Biden are in saying that we need to have a buyback program in place because the weapons were already out there. The large capacity magazines were already out there. Banning the sale didn't stop what was already in circulation. Furthermore, the great Democrat Ronald Reagan, Republican Ronald Reagan, he said that, look, these things, I support the sporting rifles. I support home defense. That's what Joe Biden has said as well. I'm with Ronald Reagan on that one. It's not unfettered. And furthermore, Justice Scalia in Heller
Dinesh
versus...
and I both worked for Reagan. Okay. Well, I must have missed this, Dinesh. Did Ronald Reagan push an assault weapons ban during his 8 years, Dinesh? I must have missed that. He and I both worked in domestic policy at the White House. I don't mean to throw down credentials, but I don't remember that personally. But, Dinesh, maybe you do. Do you remember that happen?
I mean, I certainly don't. I'd like him to elaborate a little bit more, but I don't quite know what he's referring to.
Ethan, go ahead. I don't want that to go by because we're not. That didn't happen.
Interestingly enough, Beto just tweeted out the video of Ronald Reagan speaking and saying those exact words.
He was also pro-choice. Then he became pro-life and on the abortion. He changed his mind on a lot of issues.
He supported the Brady bill as well after his presidency. So he clearly supported regulation of firearms to varying degrees. Justice Scalia wrote that in Section 3 of the Heller versus D.C. decision. A variety of regulations absolutely are supported under our Second Amendment and our Constitution.
Right.
So, look, it is time to end the mass shootings. The key thing that is consistent here in the United States that sets us apart from all the other developed Western nations which have mental health issues, which have violent video games, which have all, is high rate of fire, 100 round per minute, up to semi-automatic rifles.
Yeah, well, guns can be modified. But by the way, the Reagan speech, I think what you were talking about, he was referring to machine guns. He was not referring, and Beto doesn't know his blank from his
He
elbow
specifically
on
said
this because
AK-47s in that speech.
Beto said which is a fully automatic weapon. That is not allowed on the streets of Washington, D.C. or any place in the United States. They've been banned for 80 years. Dinesh, this is a thing that the gun control folks do, and I like Ethan. But you gotta talk. You're right. Heller decision did say, Justice Scalia did say, doesn't mean that there can be no regulations on firearms. And I think he's right about that. He was right about that in the Heller decision. But he didn't. You're making it out like Scalia said, oh, well, any semi-automatic weapon can be banned and it remain constitutional. That's not necessarily the case at all, Dinesh. And these are important details that I think we have to be very clear on. Dinesh.
I mean, number one, there obviously, as with the Second Amendment, there are extreme cases in which one can regulate the First Amendment or even the Fourth Amendment. You can't shout fire in a crowded theater, for example. But there's a heavy burden of proof for those who would want to infringe the constitutional right. Number two, we have seen even around the world today cases where the confiscation and even buyback programs. Hugo Chavez had a buyback program for guns in Venezuela. The moment that the citizens were deprived of their guns, he unleashed criminals and so-called colectivos, in a sense state-licensed thugs on the streets, to be able to move into your apartment, take your stuff. Why? Because he had disarmed the citizens in preparation for that. And third, we focus on mass shootings. Mass shootings are a little bit anomalous, whereas there are everyday shootings occurring in every major city in this country. It's very odd that those don't lead to demands for gun control. In fact, those don't lead to demands for anything. It seems that only when there's a mass shooting, an anomalous event, suddenly people go, let's confiscate the guns of everybody in America because everybody with an assault rifle poses a threat. No, everybody with an assault rifle does not pose a threat. These guys pose a threat. Let's identify the threat, find out how we can preempt it, and deal with it in a tailored and narrowly focused way.
Ethan, do you think the Democrat Party, though, has, getting back to the angle, haven't they really have shifted on a whole bunch of issues? It wasn't going to be health care for illegals. Now it is. They really weren't for going in and taking guns, but now they pretty much are, at least a certain type of weapons. On issue after open borders, well, let's not make it a crime. Shouldn't be any crime. Shouldn't have any. You shouldn't, have really penalties except maybe some civil deal. So they kind of moved on a lot of these issues. They used to wave off these stereotypes.
Well, I think that there is some truth in what you just said. I think there's a realization that we need to be stronger on some of these issues, the realization that these people who don't have proper documentation live amongst us, work amongst us. Ronald Reagan, again, signed the bill in 1986 that required emergency rooms to accept them as well. I mean, I keep going back to Reagan. You guys know so well. He signed that legislation. So, look, the Democrats today actually have that in common again.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan would not recognize the current Democrat Party. He was a Democrat. He wouldn't recognize the party today. I mean, I don't like talking about people who are not with us to sit, but I mean, I think he would be shocked to see what's happened to today's Democrat Party. Thank you, panel. It's great to see you tonight.